morning, my name is Joe. I'm a student here at J-Tech in Jacksonville, Florida. Today we're going to be talking about air compressors and what you would need to do if you were going to replace one. Now, a lot of times when you buy an air compressor, it's not going to come with the pulley and the clutch assembly. So what you're going to have to do is pull these off of your old AC compressor and put them on your new one. Before you do that, one of the first things you want to do is make sure that your pulley is actually spinning freely. If it's binding up for some reason, then that could indicate that you actually would need a new pulley. So anyway, the first thing we're going to do is wait for this forklift to get biased. That's better. And we're going to take our 10 millimeter and remove the retaining bolt. It's as easy as that. And then pull off our clutch plate here. A little bit later we're going to be talking about an air gap, and that's going to be crucial in that. So inside here, as you can see, there was a shim in here and it is stuck there. So this is a shim that helps us set our air gap. It was already in here, so provided the air gap was set properly, then when we put this on the new one using this shim, we should be in good shape spec-wise. So, like I said, we've got this O-ring here, or snap ring, sorry, and we're just going to remove that. So we're going to go ahead and remove this snap ring. It's as easy as that. And then the next thing we want to do is pull off our pulley. Below that, you're going to have your clutch rotor down here. Now, if the pulley is not coming off of there easily, you could use a puller. You would not want to use a hammer to try and bang it off. So next would be the clutch coil. However, there's a snap ring down in there that I have not removed yet, and that's why that's not going to come out of there until so we're going to pull that out of there, and now your clutch coil will come off. And then you disconnect the electrical hook up here and put this all back together on your new AC compressor. So to reassemble it, it's just a reversal of what we did in taking it off. We're going to get that on there. Take your snap ring, put it back. Sometimes it helps to have a small screwdriver to help you get the snap ring back on. But this one should go on pretty easy. Now it's down there, we just gotta press it on down to make sure it's properly seated. And if it's properly seated, then your pulley is going to go back down on there pretty easily. So then we have our other snap ring here that we're going to place. And that one went on pretty easily. Now, we had that shim that had got stuck up in the clutch plate. We're just going to set that right there, or I guess you could put it in the clutch plate itself, but if you put it here, you just want to make sure this goes on over it without knocking that out of place. Alright, so from there we're going to replace that retaining bolt. And you want to torque that to specification. You can either find that from the manufacturer's website, or you could look at your vehicle's specifications for that. Here I've got pulled up the Sandin website, repair procedures for an AC compressor, and one of the things it gives you right off the bat is your specs. And here we're going to be talking about the air gap, and their specification is 0.35 to 0.65 millimeters. So to check that, you want to get your feeler gauges out and find your 0.35 feeler gauge, millimeters. Okay, so in inches, that's going to be 0.014, 14 thousandths of an inch to about 30 thousandths. But to check that gap, this is where you're going, in between the clutch plate and the pulley base. 0.35 is way too small, so we're going to jump that up to a much higher one. If I remember correctly, this is almost uses almost a 30 thousandths. Okay, so here you can see we have way too much of an air gap, and so what we want to do is we're going to want to remove that shim, which is as easy as that. Let's put that back on there. Put the retaining bolt back in. Now the air gap is important because if the gap is too wide, you're going to have one of two things. One is it's going to cycle on and off too frequently because the magnetic field isn't going to hold it. And the second thing that'll happen if it's too wide is it just won't kick on at all. If it's too close, your compressor is going to be running all the time. And you just want to make sure it's the right gap. When you put the feeler gauge in, it should have a little bit of tug to it, but it shouldn't be like extremely hard to remove it or way too easy to remove it. And there, we seem to have the right gap. Like I said, if it was too wide, remove shims. If it's too close, add shims. And that is basically it for replacing an AC compressor once you have it off the truck, obviously. Anyway, thank you. My name's Joe. Appreciate you watching.